This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, it's time for Lex's big push. You know, we talked about, should it be Sting? Should it be Barry? Lex gets the nod first. He's headlining a pay-per-view. It's Great American Bash 1988. They go 23 minutes and 13 seconds. Jim and I have done a long episode on this entire show, including the main event that Meltzer gave 2.5 stars. But of course, it feels like, hey, the rack is on and Ric Flair must have submitted because they're ringing the bell. We've got a new world champion. When in fact, it's actually the Athletic Commission stopping the match due to blood loss, but there wasn't significant bleeding. In hindsight, is this sort of one of the straws that broke the camel's back for Jim Crockett Promotions? Do you think? It feels like they turned off Baltimore that night in a major way.
Well, you know, Conrad, I hated that finish. Anytime your fan base leaves disappointed and they're frustrated, the thing about, here's the deal. The thing about and if it happened today, it would have been a great train wreck because there's so much more information flow out there thanks to social media, for better or for worse.
Right.
But Luger didn't get enough color to make a Band-Aid would have fixed that.
Right.
He wasn't in physical danger. And it was a formality that the hard to get along with at times Baltimore, Maryland Commission, that's been noteworthy for things like that in the past. So I didn't like the finish at all. I don't understand. And every time you get wrestlers involved, every time may be too much. More often than not, when wrestlers are involved in their finishes, and they are the last vote heard or the last sentiment heard on a finish that ironically, get this, involves them, we take the shortcuts because their egos are so fragile. They're so sensitive, bless their hearts, that they got to protect themselves.
Well, now, this is probably not Luger protecting himself. This is probably Dusty making sure he can come back with return matches. But it was just...
I'm not blaming Luger on it. The office made this decision to use that finish.
Right.
And in theory, I can understand the logic behind it. But in execution...
It's a mess.
It was a mess. It missed. It was a mess. It was the shits. And sometimes, here's the deal, man. You can get over the shits.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the theory was. Well, as we heard the audience, our audience says it's not very good. We don't like the way the show ended. We don't believe we got our money's worth, which tells you that they came to see the main event, and the main event let them down. So I'm not blaming Lex on the finish because he didn't do the finishes. But the office, it's one of those old Wild West, things where, the guy gets thrown over the top rope. The second referee sees it. There's a disqualification. It's on the delayed call, and it sucks ass. It's just terrible. So I didn't like that at all. I don't know who it helped. I really don't. Do you think it didn't help Dusty?
No.
It didn't help Lex?
No.
So what did we accomplish? We accomplished shit. And all shit's good for is fertilizer. It helps things grow.
Let me ask, in terms of this finish, what would you have done? I mean, would you have just avoided Luger in the main event with Flair because you felt like fans were ready for it, and you as the promoter aren't ready to put your business in his hands? Or would you have done a different finish and just have the Horseman cheat or some such?
I would have had the Horseman play the numbers game.
Yeah.
Where the babyface was faced with insurmountable odds, and the announcers would tell a good story. And Luger was never quit. He never gave up. He fought his ass off, but the numbers caught up with him. They're called the Four Horsemen for a reason. There's four of those bastards. There's one Lex. I would look like Lex is going to pull this thing out, and all of a sudden, kaboom, something goes down for an object, whatever it may be, and he got screwed. And you can tell that story much more vividly and easier than trying to explain a trinket or two of blood because that was the premise. Well, this guy's bleeding. Yeah, but the intent of the rule is to make sure that somebody doesn't, they're not injured and they're bleeding. Well, you know, this is just a trickle down. It's like a shaving cut.
Right.
It just didn't work for me. So I'd had I would have had a finish, and I would have beat Lex, but I would have beat Lex with the help of the cavalry.
Sure.
And give him the out that he needed, just to preserve his push and his advancement. But that finish just, you know, and look, if you told me that what you're going to do before the show, which they didn't, which is fine. I didn't want to know, didn't need to know. I might have said, well, that sounds interesting. That might work. I've seen matches stop because of too much blood.
Of course.
But it's too much blood.
Not enough. Yeah.
No. So didn't like the finish at all. I don't think it helped anybody. And when you're booking a finish, you got to figure, okay, now who all did we help here? Who all did we continue to advance? Or have we failed? I think on that finish, it was a failure.
Let's talk.
Hey, Big Daddy, you got to get excited about saving people money. Woo! Woo!
SaveWithConrad.com. Let's mention the crazy incident that wrestling fans still talk about to this day. I think it's January of '87. The old Lex Luger Bruiser Brody cage match from Florida. It became a tape trading legend. I think former ECW manager Bill Alfonso here in this era, he is a referee. He's the referee for that match. Did you see the tape or did you hear about the incident? What did you think of that?
I heard about the incident, but I have not seen the tape. You know, Brody, these controversial issues where Brody was imposing his will, it wasn't a new deal. It wasn't new. It wasn't a new concept. Oh my God, this never happened before. Bullshit, happened all the time. And Frank was a strong-willed businessman. And so I didn't see the tape though. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was something to see. You know, it feels like Brody just decided, hey, this doesn't work for me, brother. And just stop selling anything and everything. And before you know it, Luger's running for his life. But
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.